Hey guys, it's been a long time coming. Godzilla versus Kong. There's a long time debate between me and Joe, who is over here training on Apex because I'm better than him at Apex, just like Godzilla is better than his Kong. All right? So, but first, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I want to thank our sponsors, Opera GX, for sponsoring this video. So check out this little advertisement and then see who wins this epic debate and what we think of the film. I hope you guys enjoy. Check it out. Guys, I like upgrades, I like gadgets, and that's why I like Opera GX, which is a gaming browser for people like us with tons of features that we would enjoy. Check it out.
Most importantly, it's completely free. It integrates with Facebook Messenger, Twitter, Discord. You can get all the messages right up on the side.
Twitter, Facebook Messenger. Know exactly when your favorite streamers are streaming. Like us?
Like us?
Yours truly?
Yeah, and one of the best parts about it is for the performance. You can actually limit how much the browser uses on CPU and on RAM. Now, some of the other browsers are huge resource hogs.
Yeah, Opera uses way less than Chrome. Plus, we have the GX Corner, which keeps you up
Let me
to
show
date
you. Boom.
right here.
GX Corner.
All the games coming out, free games, and all the new upcoming games.
So what do we got? We got Yakuza 6 coming up. That already came out, but it's coming out on the computer. Monster Hunter Rise, exactly. Look at all these free games. It will search the internet to see what is free right now. You like Stalker? Go grab it. Do you like the Final Fantasy remake? Well, guess what? Free with PS Plus. This is where it's out for gamers. All the gaming news in one spot for you. Guys, seriously, there is no reason why you should not at least download and try Opera GX and see how you like it in comparison to the browser you use now. If you like gadgets, if you like upgrades like I do, check out Opera GX. The links are down below. It supports our show. It supports you for badass upgrades. And check it out. All right? So I hope you guys enjoy the video. It's here. It's finally here. Godzilla.
Kong.
Godzilla.
Kong.
Godzilla.
Kong.
Godzilla.
It's Kong all the way.
Hey, as long as the humans have minimal screen time, we'll all be happy.
Right? Oh.
He's got a point.
Yeah. Well, then we have something to talk about with you guys. But we'll save some of that for the spoiler section, and we'll save my outbursts and reactions to the actual conclude for the spoiler section. I don't want to spoil anything, but as you can tell, I won't say anything. So I am very happy right now. Okay, let me just say this: Godzilla vs. Kong, right? What are you coming here for? You're coming here for Godzilla vs. Kong. I mean, it can't be any more obvious than that. So, in that sense, I want to say amazing, amazing fight scenes. Like, everything that I wanted in terms of the fight scenes is there. And like I said, my reaction to who wins, I'm going to save for the outburst for the spoiler section. This is Muted Joe right now, okay? Muted. I'm going to put my critic's hat on, and we'll save that for the spoiler. So, critic's hat. Terrible writing. Just terrible writing. In between these epic fight scenes. These fight scenes that are worth the price of admission. But that writing, how rushed, how so much exposition dumps every 5 seconds, how it's like 15 films in one when the one we want to concentrate on is Godzilla vs. Kong.
Big monster.
Right? And it makes it just like, you remember King of the Monsters? And the Godzilla fans, including me, are hardcore people, and they got angry with us for not loving the film more than we loved it. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10 because the humans and the writing were weighing it down. Well, unfortunately, again, I have to say it, it's AngryJoe show, so we're being brutally honest, and we're giving tough love. Again, the humans and the writing are weighing down the film. And it's hard to imagine me rewatching this without fast forwarding to the great fight scenes like I do in King of the Monsters. And it's what do you guys think? For me, so many stories are going on at once. And the one that I want to see is, is diluted because of all these other things, and they have to have time for all these other things.
I'm with you on that. This was like a visual spectacle. I loved every moment of it. Whenever you see the stars of the show, But when you see like a Godzilla versus King Kong featuring Millie
Bobby Brown,
I don't care.
I don't care about
Millie. And these subplots, I'm just like, along with these
Millie
subplots
doesn't even need to be there.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is
she doesn't justify her
time.
presence.
With these subplots, so I'm just waiting. I'm like, okay, can we kind of rush this along? Because I'm here for the main event. Like, I don't want to know about this. If you want to dump some exposition, give me some backstory about some of these Godzilla or Kong or something else. Instead of making these, this is a new ragtag team with Millie and her crew. I don't care.
Right. That's what the story was about, guys. And then the epic fights were basically I have action figures downstairs. I should have brought them up here. Godzilla and Kong. And it's just me smashing them together. That's
and whenever that happened, I'm like, I lit up. I'm this
like
is
a kid.
amazing.
Like a kid.
Yes, I loved it. But then it was cut too short again with the cast and whatever. I didn't like it.
Alex?
Yeah, I like this one a lot more than I thought I was going to. I do think that this is a better movie than King of the Monsters. For me,
yes,
it was.
we both agree. I think we all agree. It's better than King of the Monsters.
Yeah, and so I was expecting to really hate that there was going to be more human storylines, and I kind of did. I mean, they didn't necessarily. They didn't need to be there. There were characters. There's like this evil corporate woman who doesn't have a lot of lines, and her introduction is so bad. It's like adult movie level bad. Like,
no, the writing is really
some
bad.
of it's terrible. And then when we get to some of the fights, and they do a better job in this one. It felt like, look, the human parts are slow, and then they do sprinkle in a little early fight, and then there's some fights later on, and there's some more fights, and so it's like that the pacing was still not good, but it felt better than King of the Monsters. Now, I don't think I recently watched Skull Island, and I think that is the best movie in this
Skull
universe.
Island is excellent.
And
you reminding y'all we gave it an 8 out of 10 to both of us.
Yeah, and so I don't think that this comes anywhere. It's not as good as a movie at all, but I did like it better than I thought I was going to.
Okay. It's just the titular characters, the title characters, Godzilla and Kong, I wanted more depth. I wanted more characterization. They were doing it at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, let's go. It starts with Kong. Right? It doesn't start with no stupid humans and we're going to hide them like fucking Gareth Edwards or whatever for an hour and 20 minutes. No, the story's about Kong when you start the film. Like, he's just waking up. You got your song.
He scratches his ass.
Yeah, scratches his ass. It's this is my fucking kingdom. And then you get the waterfall. He's taking a shower. I'm like,
that's a good start.
Yes. This is what I want. You can make Kong the main character. He doesn't have to talk. I mean, look, the Planet of the Apes, you can make the CGI effect the main character. But for whatever goddamn reason, they don't want to do it in these films. I don't know if it's WB. I don't know if it's Joe. I don't know who the fuck it is.
Gotta be WB.
But it's just bad decision. And the director and the writers, like, stop it. That is what we want to see. Unfortunately, that part is interrupted a little later. He's actually in containment. They introduced this little 7-year-old girl, and that was my problem. Is that that's in a lot of Kong films, the connection between the humans and Kong, and hell, it's even in some Godzilla films. Like Twins with the Godzilla and Godzilla's son and stuff like that. And that would be fine if they didn't have to do 5 other movies with all these other backstories. We could have then replaced all those other stories with the close-ups on Kong and his relationship with that little girl or this or that. Instead, we don't get the depth there. I don't want to see this damn little 7-year-old girl introduced in the film that we don't care about, nor any of these side characters, of which there are so many that not even the film itself that introduced them can keep track of them all. What's that guy's name at the beginning? He's in Band of Brothers, right? I think he's in the dad. He shows up at the beginning, and then I completely forget he's in the movie, and he shows up at the end. It's like, why were you even in this?
I like the way they handled him. If they had used all of the humans like that, where they show him in the beginning and then they just disappear to the very end. It's like, let's do that with everybody.
Yeah. You know what? That's a great fucking point. They should have just done that.
Yeah. I agree.
Unfortunately, he's the only one that they do that with. They do it with so many other things. So, anyways, you know, I gotta say, the trailers were a little too revealing. I think there were, teases of what is actually in the
toy
film.
Manufacturers ruined everything for this movie.
They fucked it up, right? You fucked it up, right? But I was surprised to learn. I thought that it was going to be a certain way. I thought that there was some subterfuge going on there, and these people aren't actually fighting, and we're going to get a fight. No, it actually played out in a little bit in an unexpected way. But then I realized, that's that was the normal way that it was going to be. So I was a little tricked by that. We'll talk about that in spoilers because I don't want to give too much away. But I just want to go back to these other characters. Millie Bobby Brown, who's and this podcast guy.
Madison, and then the podcast guy is Bernie.
Bernie. So I want to talk, about Bernie. So Bernie is this eccentric conspiracy theorist, and apparently he is the only one on planet Earth that says, excuse me, him and Millie Bobby Brown, excuse me, I thought that we had a whole film, multiple films, where Godzilla is, this, savior of humanity. They even reference it in here. He's our protector. And he attacks one specific fucking installation, an Apex installation. This is the new technology bad guy.
Even Apex,
right?
I mean, it's just like it's Bad Guy Incorporated. Right. It's like, okay, cool.
He attacks that specifically, and then he fucking leaves, and he doesn't attack anything else. And then the entire world is like, let's attack Godzilla.
Why did you do that? It's like, well,
he's a bad guy now. I was like, oh my god. And the only one on Earth is the podcast, the conspiracy theory. So the writing is fucking terrible. And then the only one that wants to help the conspiracy guy is our Stranger Things star. I don't know if WB thought we need somebody like Millie Bobby Brown because she's hot right now. But then the pandemic happened, then all these delays happened, and it's been so long since the last season of Stranger Things that I don't know if she has any box office pull whatsoever or what her purpose was, because she brings absolutely nothing to this film.
No, it was just stuff we could have done without. Everything they did. We could have done without.
It could have been an accident.
She's the one that implies that he was provoked, and she goes over there and tries to help this guy who is kind of trying to infiltrate Apex, who has the worst security in all of moviedom. Just absolute worst. The podcast guys can get in there. Little girls can get in there. Anybody can get into fucking Apex, even though it's the most high security place on Earth. Again, and so you have all of these ridiculous things piling up. And at a certain point, your suspension of disbelief breaks, with all these characters. I've had enough of Millie. I've had enough of this.
And this new guy, Josh.
The new Josh. Yeah, right. Josh, who has a pivotal point at the end of the film. We'll talk about it in spoilers. He's the hero of the film, basically.
No.
Yeah, it's not Kong. It's not Godzilla. It's not anything else. No monsters. It's actually Josh, and we can discuss that there. But they bring in a new character, Skarsgård, I think.
Tarzan.
Yeah, no, what?
He was Tarzan.
Tarzan. Wasn't he also...
Yeah, Alexander says. Yeah. Dr. Nathan.
Yeah, that's right. And he is like this new scientist, author, and apparently Apex needs this author to lead the mission to the Hollow Earth.
He went there kind of before, but
his brother went there, and then
his brother died. And here's the thing: every fucking character in this film has a backstory. Every side unimportant character. Bernie has this big thing with his wife, and then this character has a thing with his brother. And this is all time you're taking away from fucking Godzilla, man, and Kong, right?
Yes.
But they have all these things. So they have this guy who has no experience in any of this technology lead the mission. But I thought this was cool. And I was like, okay, so I think the Hollow Earth idea and the Monsterverse that I thought that they were setting up here is great. I like that idea. Just, we don't need all this other stuff to get there. So basically they're implying that Maybe we should talk about that in spoilers. We will.
Yeah, I think
but
keep this
there's
one
just
shorter.
yeah. So they do this journey to the center of the earth kind of thing, and it's really visually pleasing. It's spectacular. It looks awesome. The ideas are very creative, and here's some monsters there, additional monsters for additional battles. Because you're like, is this gonna be Godzilla versus Kong the entire time? Which would have been okay with me. But so they do some little battles there and create a mythos, create a history, an ancient story between these two foes or ancestors of these two foes, and try to give some context. All that is great. I love that part. It's like let's go to a mission, go to the center of the earth, try to figure out where these titans are coming from or how do they relate to this. But they just had so much of that in there. From characters that we don't care about that are basic tropes, walking tropes, like the daughter of the CEO who accompanies the mission, and she's like, hey,
this is where you're impressed. What?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Shut up.
Stop being a bitch.
And so just
There's
so
no
many
point.
subplots, and there's a subplot for Millie to find the podcast guy, and then there's a subplot, his backstory for his wife, and then there's the subplot of the scientists needing to journey to the center of the earth. Then there's the subplot of the Apex guys and them wanting to create something, and then. There's the subplot with Kong and his the little girl and the lady scientist who knows all about Kong and Kong Island and all or Skull Island and stuff, and it just gets ridiculous. It gets overstuffed, and I think it loses sight. But here, more than King of the Monsters, they realize, okay, we gotta pay it off. And there's like more than an hour of fighting. It's good. It's I don't know if it's an hour of fighting.
I think it's less.
I think it's less. I was promised over an hour of fighting a monster and stuff because I was reading interviews and the guy was like, yeah, well, there's like this much, and it doesn't feel like there's that much.
Yeah,
there is.
Look at the time.
There's a good
I would say
amount.
probably like 30-ish, maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say also in my notes here I put that this is Kong's film. Like it feels like a Skull Island
and that's
sequel, not a Godzilla film.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because like, instead of the people, let me know more about Godzilla's part and give me both stories.
Well, Godzilla got the 2 movies. This is Kong's like second movie, and
yeah. But even when Godzilla got the 2 movies, nobody really focuses on Godzilla
I know.
the way they focus
these
on
are
Kong. And again, just go in anticipating that this is Kong's film, and it takes like an hour and 22 minutes till they really kind of focus a little more on Godzilla, other than him being just a force of destruction, and that's a little disappointing. I mean, that's the stuff that we could have got if we didn't have all these other subplots going on. So then there's a surprise in the end. If you've seen the toys, if you've seen the things, I just don't want to talk about it here. We'll talk about it in the spoilers, where in the climax of the film, they have an obstacle that they need to overcome. And again, an amazing battle, an amazing fight scene, a cool interpretation of that, and I thought it was fucking awesome. I don't want to say too much. I can't say that because that'll give it away. So I want to say one particular move that they used. They used moves from the history and the mythos and cool stuff
and memes.
And memes, yeah. But let me hammer again before we go to our final verdicts. It's just extremely bad writing. It felt like they were, at a certain point, it felt like they were just making up stuff as they were going on. Okay, and now he does this, and now he fires his atomic breath at the ground, which cracks through the earth all the way to the hollow earth, so that then there could be a connect, and then this, and it does that at the exact moment that somebody was about to kill somebody, and then they're saved, and it's just the writing is so fucking.
But you forgot about writing about the backstory of the security guard that died randomly. And that was Jeff, the security guard. And Jeff's brother just got into Harvard, so his parents are really proud of him. And then he died. It's like, why do we know that? Why do we care about any of this?
It is that kind of stuff, and then trying to force the subplot characters to have purpose in the main Kong and Godzilla fight, and have them be the ones that actually do the turnaround, instead of it being a discovery of Godzilla and Kong in themselves. They have a little bit of that, but it could have been genuinely their moment. No, the film tries to make it the moment of these pointless characters that we don't care about. So if you just rip all that shit out, like we said for King of the Monsters, they didn't learn any of that. They did learn, give more action, give more fight scenes. They learned that, but they didn't learn, we don't care about the human characters. They should be sidelined. This isn't Shin Godzilla, where it actually has something to say or has, better writing or something like that. This is basically popcorn garbage with too much of that human element. And it would have been better to focus on the title characters. So anyways, let's go to final verdict so we can jump into all the spoilers.
Yes. For me, this is going to be a little bit better than King of Monsters. I'm going to give this a 7. They did listen to some of it, but, like, these characters we don't care about. Like, we get more, like we were talking about, we get more backstories about them, which this film should have been Godzilla and Kong. Which Kong is way superior. No comeback. Okay.
I missed it, Joe. I'm preparing my verdict here.
Yeah,
you son of a bitch. We'll talk about it in spoilers so I can let loose.
These subplots were just like a waiting game for me. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Let's rush this along so we could just get to the good stuff. This was all just like fillers. I was getting tired of it.
Yeah.
But the fights, whenever they had their moments, it was epic. It was the best.
Yeah.
I wish we could see this on the theaters,
what do you think about
it.
Did you feel the same way I did about the ending, that it just like kind of ends and it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
It kind of like wraps up a little, not unsatisfyingly, but it's like you cut it off. And did you not finish the film, or
That's
you finish your idea?
The climax was great, but like it didn't. And
the prologue, what is it called?
Epilogue.
Yeah, epilogue. They didn't really
if
do
you would
the
have
epilogue.
trimmed up the other stuff, expanded on that,
that
would have been way better. But 7 for me overall.
Alex?
Yeah, this is a movie of pretty wild extremes. It's a long movie too, right? So it's like what, 2 hours? About 2 hours long. This is a movie that I think if you keep exactly the same amount of minutes of monsters and you cut back, you just make a shorter movie, I think you'd greatly improve its overall reception, at least with me. There are so many unnecessary scenes with characters. And I want you guys to know, like, there are characters that I understand. There was contractual agreements. They probably signed Millie Bobby Brown for a 2-movie deal years ago, and they're like, shit, we got to throw her in this next one. So that's probably why she's in here. Cut all half of that shit out, because the movie ends up dragging between these fights, and you have to slog through the kind of boring parts to get to the monster stuff.
Yes.
And I know I'm not asking for a movie that's 2 hours of CG. I'm asking for a movie that if we have human characters, make their scenes related to King Kong or related to Godzilla. These movies were about them like going on a road trip and figuring out Chinese food, like in a Chinese restaurant, and inquiring about bleach purchases. Make them research King Kong so it's more about these characters. So if I'm getting unnecessary exposition, it's about the characters that I care about and not about it's his wife or so-and-so's brother, or, he wrote a book and there's 30 of them in his apartment. It's like, these are things I didn't need to know. Go over what we do know about the great apes that live in the center of the earth. And when this movie does get humming, it's really good. I grew up with, Edgar Rice Burroughs and Jules Verne and these, like, fantasy novels, and the scenes in the center of the earth really were great. They were truly, really, really, really good. They even had the whole little Tarzan, that guy was Tarzan. And so there's a lot of really great parts to it. It's just that stuff between the great parts were bad.
Yeah, and it's uneven. It's got high highs, low lows.
Very low lows. But I do think this is better than King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
It's almost like someone at WB is like, no, we need this many minutes of human beings. And I don't know if the director constantly said, I want more monsters. Give me more monster time. I want more monster time. No one comes here to see, the people talk. And I see where they were going from that between the two films. It's just, you need to push harder. Hit them over the head with this and be like, no one cares about these characters.
Yes.
So it is better than King of the Monsters, but it is worse than Skull Island. I'm also going to go with a 7.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm wavering between a 7 and an 8. I think the 8 that I gave Kong Skull Island is because Kong Skull Island was written well, great effects, great fights. Right. Yep. This one has great effects, great fights. It's not written well. And I don't like the characters as much as I like the characters in Kong Skull Island. Or, the characters felt like they had purpose and they tried to stay, they were part of the story in a better way in Kong Skull Island. I do agree, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, great film, or good film, but not as good as this one. This one is better than, King of the Monsters. And so we're going to be crucified by Godzilla fans and Kong fans for maybe not giving it a 9.
Why? Because we wanted more backstory of Godzilla instead of the
I think
people?
they agree with us deep on the inside, but they just have to hit that downvote button because
we think it's good. 7's good.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'm going to have to go with 7. As much as I want to give it an 8 because of those fight scenes, those fight scenes, God damn it, are like a 9 and 10. Yeah. They really are. And then the Hollow Earth idea, this monster-verse, setting up the monster-verse, give me a tiny bit more in that Hollow Earth or give me a little bit better epilogue and cut out some of these human characters, and you got it. You're so close. You're getting there. So Godzilla Skull was great, but it's its own thing. So then you got like Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then you get it, and then this one, we're just one more. One more on that last one. The next one is going to be fucking 10 out of 10. I hope. If they constantly do it. We're close. We just need to get there. So it was, 4 years ago, 2017 that we did Kong Skull Island, and then 2019. Let's see, March 14th, 2017 for Kong. June 1st, 2019 for King of the Monsters, and now March 31st, 2021 for Godzilla vs. Kong. So they're like it's almost like every 2 years kind of thing. So maybe in 2 years, or maybe it'll take 3 years or 4 years because of the pandemic delays and shit. Maybe in that next film, they'll fucking put it all together and do it. But
I think at the end of the day, these people are just gonna fast forward to the good parts where the fights and all this stuff. So
and
you get our point.
Yeah. So we'll fucking see. And I thought that they were gonna go with an explanation for that Hollow Earth that is in the films, the history of the films. Like somebody built that. And then we'll talk about that in spoilers. God damn it. All right. Anyways, that's it for the non-spoiler discussion. But stick around because we have a lot to say in the spoiler discussion. All right. Thank you guys so much. And we want to thank Opera for sponsoring the show. Click the links down below. It's free. There's no reason you shouldn't try it out if you're a gamer, if you want better, speedier access and more control over your browsing. Try out Opera, guys. All right. So join us in the spoiler section.